In the foulest of weather, Edwin Grote has left these shores to seek out a living on the Atlantic floor. As an old sea dog, he could have retired comfortably long ago, but the temptation of the battle between man and the ocean proved too great. It's the enormous power of the deep, the swell of giant waves that can toss his little concrete boat around like a matchstick in a river.
When I look out at the sea, there's something about it that cannot be explained. Just watching those waves, when there's a big swell on, there's a power that's bigger than all of us.
Working with him for about just about 4 years, and well, it's an experience. He's a dead right full of the sailway. And never a day it's quite exactly the same. It's the thrill of the catch sometimes as well. If you get a few good lobsters, then it's very worthwhile. Just try our best to make a good living to do it. It's a very safe boat, this as well. I mean, for a 30-year-old, actually they decommission wooden boats and steel boats after 15 years, and you can't get a grant on them after 20 to 25 years. So. And this one's still going.
To protect stocks, European legislation was brought in stipulating that brown crabs smaller than a certain size must be thrown back to sea. Velvet crabs, however, are a speciality, and these will find their way onto plates at some of Europe's top restaurants within the next few days. And there's a smile each time the great ocean offers up the most sought-after prize of all.
I suppose you could say the sea is my mistress, but it's a mistress my wife doesn't mind me having. I think sometimes she's just happy to see the back of me. When I turned 65, what did she give me for my birthday? Was it a nice holiday abroad? Or even a good bottle of malt whiskey? Not in your life. She gave me 100 creels. You would have thought I'd have seen enough of these wee buggers.
Deluded swain, the pleasure the fickle fear can give thee is but a fairy treasure. Thy hopes will soon deceive thee. The billows of the ocean, the breezes idly roaming, the clouds' uncertain motion, they are but types of woman.
Before returning to harbour, Edwin heads for Westray's most dramatic landmark, the 80-metre-high cliffs at Noop Head.
You see, that's ordinary rock structure. It's in layers, as opposed to a lot of the Western Isles in North Scotland. It's just more volcanic. This is a stratified type of rock here, you see. And that permits it the beds to lay in layers and fill the cliff.
Over the course of spring and summer, more than 100,000 seabirds, including guillemots, razorbills, kittiwakes and fulmars, will find refuge here from the full force of the Atlantic. But over the last decade, the numbers have begun to fall as a result of global warming. Another day gone, another catch to deliver to the processing factory in Pirawal. This is Westray's main employer, a cooperative owned by the islanders themselves. But there's an irony here that reflects itself throughout the island. So many young people have left that the factory has to rely on transient visitors from Poland and other East European countries who have come in search of work. Just a century ago, over 2,000 people lived on Westray. Today, that figure stands at less than a third. So many have emigrated that there is now a serious age gap from children to middle age and older. Young adults have all but disappeared. For Edwin Grote's wife, Dorothy, the exodus from the island, coupled with incomers, some of whom don't mix easily, has diluted the strong feeling of community.
We used to go to the village and you would know every face, whereas now you think, well, who is that? Is this a visitor or is it somebody that's staying on the island?
Hi. Hello. Today? Oh, not bad. What's doing today?
Fish for the tea tonight.
Fish?
Yeah.
Fish and mostly. Looks good.
I think it's just unavoidable because a lot of the islanders would inevitably leave the island. So we need incomers to keep up the population.
Mind you, there's a lot of people come here probably where sales or houses for that's what God doing south that can afford not to work, maybe semi-retired and so on and want to get away. And it's difficult to differentiate in that we need everybody in the island to make the island viable.
We would like people to come to stay in the island, preferably. But then again, there was a lot of derelict buildings, so they've come and done up the houses. And the only worry I think we have that young couples, it is a bit beyond the price that they can afford.